here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time in the form of a post-game commentary as Skarner in the jungle. So real quick, you'll notice we have two ultimate skins in this game, Gun Goddess and DJ. And of the two, I'd rather have DJ, but if you notice, those are the two I don't have, so I don't really have any desire to get either of them. But I digress. So anyway, we are Skarner in the jungle. Enemy team has Rammus as their jungler, and if you notice, the mid and jungle has swapped. And before we go into more detail about the game, I need to put out a bit of a two-point disclaimer. The first of which is I have 3 games set aside for this weekend. Game 1 is Skarner, Game 2 is also Skarner, and Game 3 is Malzahar. And if you're wondering why double Skarner, Skarner fits into a ton of team comps. Like in this one, I get the speed up from Sona, and you'll actually see us do all these crazy cross-map movements this game, so just a heads up. That alone kind of makes this worthwhile. And then, forgot, there were certain characters, I can't remember which ones offhand, but basically they decided to feed, they played their characters out of role, basically like 80 carries top, and fed their asses off, so I'm back down to Silver 2. So basically I'm just bringing Skarner out to force my way back up. As for when I'm running, you can see Aftershock, Bone Plating, Conditioning, Overgrowth, then Ultimate Hat, and Celerity. Celerity will give you additional offensive stats when you're inside of your spires because it gives you movement speed, plus you get movement speed from your W, so you can get a little bit of free extra damage doing it that way. So anyway, those are the 2 points. The first of which being the double Skarner game since I got demoted, and the second of which being the demotion itself, that is. So anyway, as for the team at hand, we have a really nasty wombo combo. So if you don't see what it is, either we lead off with Crescendo or Unstoppable Force, Sona Malphite. And then we drop the Articuno Blizzard and the Misfortune Bullet Time, and it's painful. Very painful. As for how I fit into this, in case you're wondering, for that nimble sucker like Azir who wants to actually interrupt all those channels, I'm going to hold him down and make him actually take everything. And you'll see what I mean when we actually have some of the fights in the river. Basically, I will ult him out of any target, just simply because if I ult him, he can't use his ult to ruin our formation. So anyway, Skarner, really nice jungle clear. I like start Q on him, even though I do max that last, since I played Skarner tankier. And it just gives you a little bit of AoE, it has the crap ratio, I guess would be the best way to put it. Like, I'm hesitant to call something that bad a ratio, it's like a 0.2, I think. Actually, it might be lower than that, I'm afraid. I'm trying to do the math real quick, but I'm just stalling, so... Main thing is, if you want to play him AD, by all means, go ahead and max Q, because that will be your source of damage. Just do not ever play Bloodrazor Skarner, I can emphasize that enough. If you play him, you either want to go Warrior for the Q, or Cinderhulk for the E. If you go Bloodrazor, in case you're wondering, you swing really fast, so your Q comes off cooldown quicker, but who cares? You don't deal damage. That's one of those things I always talk about with AD carries. Well, such and such has this. Like, they shoot fast, but they don't deal damage. So why would I care that they shoot really fast when those shots bounce off me? But anyway, right there we got first blood off Irelia. And Rammus, right there, once I have the E on him, if he taunts me, he stuns himself. Not only that, your E is a slow, in case you don't remember, so it's much more difficult for him to actually reach me. So your E has like a 2-fold defense against Rammus. Right there, Articuno took out Azir. That was due to the passive, in case you're wondering. Azir is actually a pretty good pick into scrambling Articuno's egg, since his soldiers will just keep poking it and poking it and poking it, and he does a lot of damage for someone as mobile as him. I really do hate the bird. So anyway, we're grabbing Cinder and Boots. This is pretty much like my ideal back. The Cinder is going to speed up my jungle clear even more. It's on track to give me the Cinderhulk, and then the Boots so I can actually run in there and grab people. So right there, you can see the enemy team comp if you weren't paying attention earlier, and the things I have to worry about are the Azir wall. That's why I mentioned I have to ult him when given the opportunity. And then Karma's E, or even worse, her ult E. That gives movement speed, which can make it fairly difficult for me to actually grab people. Anyway, right here is the painful part of your clear, where you don't actually have any attack speed from your Stinger just yet, and as a result, it's so slow, man. But the good news is the chickens die really, really fast. So I also should point out that is the new Irelia, in case you're wondering. I found out before the game that CC doesn't work on her when she's using her W. This is kind of annoying. A little embarrassing that I missed too, but they can't go any further, I'm afraid, for them. So as I was saying, her W makes it very difficult for me to actually deal with her since she's CC immune. That's part of the reason why I wanted to make a play on her early, so that maybe she wouldn't take it, anticipating that she has an easy lane against Malphite. And if you've seen my previous Malphite game, the one against Fiora, just remember that if Malphite gets a little lead, he can run away with that. So right here we're going for Red Smite. That will give me a little bit of extra damage when I auto-attack. I already have the Kindle effect since I'm running Resolve and the Cinder, and on the topic of Resolve I should also mention that has been changed as of this patch. Previously it was always like a flat 65 health you got for going down the Resolve tree. Now it scales with level, and it'd be kind of cool if all the stuff scaled with level in my opinion. Like, Resolve seems to be the thing that bleeds into others, right? Makes a change there and says, hey, this is actually a good idea, let's do this for all the others. Like the whole mixing stats stuff and so on. But anyway, it used to give you a flat 65, now it gives you 15 at level 1, and it goes up as you level, capping at something like 130. And that's a change I really do approve of. It's really, really nice. There are quite a few tank junglers that don't actually need all that HP early on, and just having that little bit of bonus makes the Kindle effect activate on your talisman, and that alone can give you a much safer, smoother clear. So keep in mind if you want to jungle Volibear or someone like him that you actually want to start the machete on, it's kind of a nerf for him, because you don't get as much back when your passive pops, and by having less health, your passive is more likely to pop. So right here is when we're going to have our fight. I want to get this, and pay attention to the mini-match. Just note where everyone is. It may seem like a ridiculous demand, but we're all going to collapse in this river and start fighting. You want to pay attention to mid and bot. So right here I'm going in on Rammus. I think he got out of my Aftershock in time. So right there I wanted to ult him. I'm holding him in the Anivia ult. Right there I denied Rammus's Powerball. And there we go. So we just crushed their mid, their jungle, and their support. If the AD carry shows up, we're killing her too. Zaya, by the way, if you were paying attention. So as a result, free dragon. And this is like worst case scenario for the enemy team because we just killed 3 of them. We did not lose anyone. Those kills actually got spread out. I think Articuno got 2 of them. And then we got the Infernal on top of that. It's a really, really rough start to say the least. And then since Misfortune did get... Did she get the kill? I don't know if she got the Karma kill or not. I can't see the numbers on my screen to see if Sona has any kills, but... Just remember my 1 came from Irelia earlier. And since I'm playing Skarner, I'm not actually interested in gaining kills. I'm pretty much pure objective control. When my ult is up, I want to go kill someone, and so on. So in case you're wondering right there, if Malphite did not flash out of that ult wall, the line, whatever you want to call it, he would lose his ability to auto-attack for a little while because they gave Irelia a new status effect called Disarm. Yeah. That would be really, really devastating for me since my Q resets itself when I auto-attack. So right there is the Malphite ult. Sadly, I don't have my E, but I want to smite Irelia since she's the one that's most likely to deal damage here. Once again, I throw the E out, so that way if Rammus taunts, he's just going to get himself stunned. And yeah, this is pretty bad. I took that tower shot. If not for that, I should have been able to win that. Heartbreaking, I know. Anyway, I'll go ahead and pick up my whole Cinderhulk after that. And when I have 600 gold, I like to get the 2 daggers first. You have to remember that your jungle item does give you a little bit of extra damage on hit, so by getting some attack speed, you will get to actually proc that on-hit damage a little bit more frequently. Wait for it. Ah. So anyway, that's what the Crescendo Bulletin looks like. Very, very painful. Both AD carries are sitting on a BF sword and boots. And with those 2 daggers, you can see I attack a little bit more quickly. Granted, I do have a couple extra levels, since when I did this last, I believe I actually was level 5? Or something. Actually, I might have been level 4. So anyway, I just clear that faster. That's the main takeaway. And you can see I cleared that so fast that I got up here before the chicken camp could respawn. So right here I'm suspecting there's a ward because he backed off just when he could actually go in there and start hitting the tower a little bit. He knew Articuno recalled, so unless he was planning to recall himself and he got lucky, that would mean there was a ward somewhere around there. So watch this. So he thought he was sneaky. And keep in mind we CC'd him 3 times right there, almost perfectly layered. My suppression into the Anivia stun, the Anivia stun into my stun, and the damage adds up. That's all there is to it. I mean, he's a squishy bird. And then keep in mind Skarner does give you mana regen from the spires. As such, blue buff is just pure CDR to me. That's why I don't really mind giving it to him, especially when I'm on this side of the jungle. When I'm on the other side, I usually have to take it because that will give me level 6, and then I have my ult and everything. But on this side, since I get the red level 6 off red, blue buff, I'm a lot more willing to part with. So right there is her W, and you can see right there the CC didn't work. She did miss her ult, so I have to go ahead and kill her. Malphite gets the assist. And then I can leave all the minions to him. It's just we need to get over here to save our chicken. So right here, trying to protect the egg. And here's this crazy roam. So right here I wanted to get into the brush, so that way if she tried to duck in there to break line of sight, she actually wouldn't. And then part of this, you have to remember, Misfortune has movement speed on her W, Sona has it on her E, and then the E and the Misfortune W do stack. They can cover a lot of ground really, really fast. You have to remember the enemy team has Rammus, but we are just out-roaming them hard. So I want to get the Sheen next because that gives me the Spellblade proc and also gives me a little bit of CDR. And you have to remember, since the Spires do give you mana regen, by increasing your mana, you therefore get a little bit more regen. It's just kind of nice that all of Skarner stuff is kind of budget priced, especially relative to a lot of other junglers. So you can afford to use his stuff quite liberally. Look at how fast we clear this now. And in case you're wondering, I want to hold on to red buff for a little while longer. It's just... this is really bad for Misfortune. And the enemy team screws this one up pretty badly. So pay attention that I don't have flash here. So there was really no excuse for them to turn and go on Sona. By doing so, they just handed me Azir. So right here I grabbed him because I was afraid he was going to do his QE escape by binding him wasn't really an issue. So Sona did die, but I live, and I can buy time for the chicken to arrive. So Rammus goes down, and Zaya is a sitting duck. So that's why you protect your chicken, people, because the chicken can then protect you. So I was a little concerned about this one because I didn't have health. The good news is the bot lane died, Azir died. That was actually 4 for 2 in the end. So as a result, we could afford to do that, and hey, another Infernal. So basically the enemy team is falling into a hole here, and it's just getting deeper and deeper and deeper. What's worse for them is you have to remember I mentioned the whole wombo combo thing, so if we get a lead, even if we don't pull off the combo successfully, we only need a couple steps in it to have the same effect as a normal one. And then if we did pull it off perfectly, keep in mind the enemy would probably not survive the entire thing anyway. So right here I was trying to rescue the chicken just in case, but the chicken had it under control. And it turns out the chicken actually didn't have it under control. I think the egg cooldown does go down as the game goes on, it's just... it's still too early. In the event it actually doesn't, the trade-off then would be that she respawns faster, which I think is the case. With so many revive passives, it's hard for me to keep track, to be perfectly honest. So down goes Rammus. Poor guy. Like, one other thing I should mention is when I red smite him, and even if he taunts me then, I'm actually dealing him true damage, so his W is not protecting him that much. Granted, it's not a lot of true damage, but you have to remember that the red smite is like the poor man's exhaust. That's usually what I compare it to. But it's more of like an exhaust ignite combo. Not as strong as either of them since it's the 2-in-1, but still pretty nasty. So overall, I'm not too concerned about Articuno going for the Scuttle Crab because I'm really strong. You can see this thing just melts before us. And overall, I didn't really want it, but since no one else is taking it, I go and taking it anyway. Like, the one nice thing about it is it does make the recall a little faster, so I can go back at my Trinity. And since I'm anticipating the game to end shortly, I mean, you can look at the clock and see yourself, or you can just realize, yeah, they are really far behind. It doesn't matter how many times they say, but friendship, yada yada yada, or we have late game, yada yada yada. You only have late game if the enemy team gives you late game, and we're not giving it to them here. You have to remember, if the bot lane had been like a Triss, a Vayne, a Cog, or even Jinx, the beating would have been worse. So right here, I can't really help them too much top, so the next best thing I can do is push this in and try to draw pressure. If not, then just, hey, it's more gold, more pressure on the map overall. If you remember earlier, I said I'm not looking for kills here, I'm here for objective control. Now, keep in mind, Rammus could have actually walked up and taunted me to destroy the Herald. It's just, I'm guessing he didn't know about that interaction. It's really annoying that he came down, because otherwise I would have gotten the inhibitor turret. Once Azir showed up, I just give it up. There's not really much I can do. So the next best thing we can do, of course, is just take the other inhib. So I wanted to save the egg from getting popped, but you can see I kind of failed. I know I had one job. Anyway, once Articuno hatched again, she picks off Azir, and I realize, yeah, I got 40 health, I'm out of here. So right there you can see the disarm status effect. In case you're wondering, I could have went into Dead Man's Pit, I could have gone Warmogs. There are a few different ways to go with this. It's just Giant's Belt is probably the best all-around item I could get. My W scales off my health, and then I'm just playing into my my normal armor stats. Well, armor and MR, I should say, defensive stats, since that covers both. Because I think in the other game I do go for Righteous Glory, but I'm not sure. Yeah, he stopped to take wolves. I wanted him so bad. But anyway, I popped the bone plating on both of them, so if we get into a fight within the next 45 seconds, they do not have their flat damage reduction anymore. Yeah, if you remember, the minions change as of this patch. I'll go into more detail when we get to the Malzahar game on Monday. To be honest, I kind of wanted to get a Nocturne game since his Q got buffed. It's just, like I was saying, Skarner fits into a lot more team comps than Nocturne does. You can be tanky, you can be damaged, there are quite a few ways to do it. Nocturne, on the other hand, if you go tanky, you don't really do anything. I mean, you'll ult, but no one will care. So right there, I just wanted the healing. So with that, the enemy is triple raxed. As a result, we'll have the double super minion spawn, and it's pretty much over anyway. I mean, my team's just being rude. It's just, even if they wanted to mount like some sort of last stand, once the double supers come in, that's it. It's too early in the game for them to actually be able to reliably clear those. And victory is ours. So you'll get to see the stats here. It isn't really too much important. And I think we pretty much honor misfortune here, but I give it to Sana. So yeah, that was the promo game. S- rank, I got boxes already for Fiddle and Nocturne, I think, so no box to unlock. And I don't have any keys anyways, who cares? So I think you can see I didn't really deal a lot of damage, but it was just a very, very team-focused game, and we win. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.